Stop spending your dimes immediately. The government just announced new regulations that could make these 5-dime errors completely illegal to own by the end of 2026. And if you have any of these in your pocket change right now, you could be sitting on $50,000 or more. I'm going to show you exactly what to look for, but first pause this video, grab every dime you can find and check them against what I'm about to show you. Because once these regulations go into effect, these coins will disappear from circulation forever. Just last month, a collector in Ohio found one of these error dimes in his car's cup holder. He sold it at auction for $47,000. Another collector in Texas found 3 of these errors in a single roll from the bank that's over $150,000 from a $3 roll of dimes. But here's what's really crazy. The government is specifically targeting these error dimes because they contain metal compositions that violate new federal regulations. That means every single one of these errors you find today could be worth exponentially more once they're banned. I've been tracking dime error sales for the past 6 months, and the prices are absolutely exploding. What sold for $5,000 in September is now selling for $20,000. What sold for $10,000 is now hitting $50,000 at auction. And according to my sources at the U.S. Mint, the official announcement about these dime regulations is coming within the next 60 days. Once that happens, every collector in America is going to be hunting for these exact same errors. Coin number 1 back in 1965, the United States Mint made a historic decision that changed coin collecting forever. Silver prices were rising so fast that the government could no longer afford to put real silver into dimes and quarters. So for the very first time, the Mint switched from 90% silver to a copper-nickel-clad metal. Millions of Americans were shocked because silver coins had been part of everyday life for generations. But during this major transition, something unexpected happened inside the Mint, and that mistake created one of the most valuable Roosevelt dime errors ever discovered. Most 1,965 dimes you find today are completely normal and only worth face value. But a few rare examples were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These coins were never supposed to exist. That means if you find one, you're holding a genuine Mint error created during one of the biggest changes in U.S. coin history. Here's the first thing you need to check right now. Look carefully at the edge of your 1965 dime. A normal clad dime will show a brown or copper-colored stripe around the side. But if the edge looks completely silver with no copper showing anywhere, stop immediately. You could have a rare silver transitional error worth thousands of dollars to collectors. And there's another way to test it. A regular 1965 clad dime weighs around 2.27 grams. But the rare silver version weighs closer to 2.5 grams because silver is heavier than copper-nickel-clad metal. Serious coin hunters use tiny digital scales to test every suspicious-looking dime they find. One small difference in weight could reveal a hidden treasure sitting in ordinary pocket change. Now, let's talk about another valuable error collectors love, double dies. This happens when the coin die accidentally stamps the design more than once at slightly different angles. On some 1965 dimes, you can see doubling in the letters, numbers, or Roosevelt's portrait if you use a magnifying glass. Look closely at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters appear blurry, thick, or doubled, your coin could be worth far more than 10 cents. But the rare errors don't stop there. Some 1965 dimes were struck off-center. That means the coin blank shifted during the minting process, causing part of the design to disappear. These coins look strange and dramatic, which makes collectors willing to pay huge money for them. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin usually becomes. And then there are the mysterious SMS dimes. In 1965, instead of regular proof sets, the Mint produced special Mint sets known as SMS coins. These dimes often have sharper details, smoother surfaces, and stronger shine than regular circulation coins. Some SMS dimes with cameo contrast and near-perfect grades have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions. Condition also matters more than most people realize. A worn-out 1965 dime may only be worth face value, but a perfectly preserved, uncirculated example with brilliant luster can become extremely valuable. Collectors compete fiercely for high-grade coins because so few survive in flawless condition after decades of circulation. What makes this story even crazier is that valuable 1,965 dimes are still being discovered today. People find them in old piggy banks, inherited collections, garage sales, and even loose change from stores. Most people never inspect their coins carefully, which means rare treasures continue slipping through everyday circulation unnoticed. So, before you spend another dime, take a closer look at your coins tonight. Check the edge for solid silver color. Use a flashlight and magnifying glass to inspect the letters for doubling. Weigh the coin if possible, and always pay attention to strange-looking errors because one tiny mistake from 1965 could turn ordinary pocket change into thousands of dollars overnight. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Rare Coin of USA for more hidden coin treasures, valuable mint errors, and unbelievable discoveries hiding in everyday change. First, let's talk about the 1981 Roosevelt dime itself. The Denver Mint struck nearly 500 million of these coins. That's right, hundreds of millions entered circulation almost immediately. They passed through grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and cash registers all across America. Because there were so many of them, collectors ignored these dimes for years. After all, how could a common modern dime possibly be valuable? But hidden inside those millions of coins are a small number of examples that collectors are desperate to find today. And the secret is all on the reverse side. Flip your dime over right now. In the center, you'll see the torch design with an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. Now, zoom in closely on the middle of the torch. You'll notice tiny horizontal lines crossing the torch bands. Those lines are everything. On most 1981 dimes, the bands look flat and blurry. The lines blend together because the mint dies wore down after striking millions of coins. Once those dies started losing detail, every dime they produced came out weaker and softer. But every once in a while, a coin was struck using a fresh die with perfect pressure. And when that happened, those bands appeared fully separated with crisp, sharp detail. Collectors call this a full band strike. And that single feature is what can turn a regular 10-cent coin into a coin worth thousands of dollars. I want you to grab a magnifying glass or use your phone camera right now. Zoom in on the torch bands and ask yourself one simple question. Can I clearly see full separation between every horizontal line? If the answer is yes, stop spending that dime immediately. Because here's where things get insane. The 1981 Roosevelt dime is one of the tougher modern Roosevelt dimes to find with full bands in high-grade condition. Most were heavily circulated almost immediately after leaving the mint. They got scratched, worn down, dropped, and damaged long before collectors started paying attention to them. That means truly sharp examples are surprisingly rare today, and when one shows up at auction, collectors go crazy. One certified high-grade 1981 full bands Roosevelt dime sold for thousands of dollars. Think about that for a second. A dime most people would leave sitting on the ground became worth more than an entire paycheck. And the wildest part is that valuable examples may still be hiding in circulation right now. Every single day, people cash in old coin jars. Banks open wrapped rolls that have been sitting untouched for years. Estate sales uncover forgotten collections in closets and drawers. And because most people never check Roosevelt dimes carefully, rare full bands examples continue slipping through unnoticed. That's exactly what happened to a man named Kevin from Michigan. Kevin wasn't a coin dealer or a professional collector. He simply liked searching pocket change after work while watching television. One evening, he noticed a 1981 dime that looked unusually sharp compared to the others in his pile. At first, he almost ignored it, but something about the reverse caught his attention. He flipped the coin over and looked closely at the torch. The bands were fully separated. Every line was sharp and clear, with visible gaps between them. Kevin sent the coin to a professional grading service, expecting maybe a small collector premium. Instead, the coin came back as a certified full bands example in a high mint state grade. A few weeks later, it sold for thousands of dollars at auction, all from a dime he nearly spent on coffee. Now, here's another detail you absolutely need to know. Condition matters enormously. If your 1981 D dime is heavily scratched, worn smooth, or damaged, the value drops fast. But if it still has strong mint luster, clean surfaces, and sharp full bands, collectors can pay huge money for it. And please, never clean the coin. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Even rubbing it with a cloth can leave microscopic scratches that grading companies can spot immediately. If you think you found a strong, full bands example, hold it only by the edges, put it in a soft plastic holder or coin flip, and protect it until you can have it professionally evaluated. Now here's why these coins are becoming even harder to find. Collectors are searching Roosevelt dimes more aggressively than ever before. The best full bands examples disappear into private collections and rarely return to the market. That means the supply keeps shrinking while demand keeps growing. And because most people still think modern dimes are worthless, some of the rarest examples are probably sitting unnoticed in change jars, dresser drawers, and old bankrolls right now. So, let me break this down one more time. Grab your 1981 D Roosevelt dime. Flip it over. First, let's talk about the 1982 D Roosevelt dime itself. By 1982, these dimes were being mass-produced at insane numbers. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of them, flooding banks, cash registers, vending machines, and pockets all across America. Because of that, collectors ignored them for years. After all, how could a modern dime possibly be valuable? But hidden inside those millions of coins are a handful of examples that stand out from all the rest. And the difference comes down to one tiny feature most people have never even heard of. Here's what you need to check right now. Flip your dime over to the reverse side. In the center, you'll see the torch design with an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right. Now, focus closely on the center of that torch. See the tiny horizontal bands crossing the torch? Those bands are everything. On most 1982 D Roosevelt dimes, the bands are weak and blurry. The lines blend together because the mint dies wore down quickly after striking millions of coins. Once the dies started wearing out, the details became softer and flatter on every coin they produced. But every once in a while, a coin got struck with a fresh die and perfect pressure. And when that happened, those bands appeared fully separated, sharp, and crystal clear. Collectors call this a full band strike, and it's one of the most important details in the entire Roosevelt dime series. Now grab your phone camera or a magnifying glass. Zoom in on the torch bands and ask yourself one question. Can I clearly see complete separation between the horizontal lines? If the answer is yes, stop spending that dime immediately. Because here's where things get crazy. High-grade 1982 D Roosevelt dimes with full bands are extremely difficult to find. Most entered circulation right away and got scratched, worn down, or damaged before collectors ever noticed them. That means truly sharp examples are surprisingly rare today, and when collectors compete for them, the prices explode. One pristine 1982 D full bands Roosevelt dime sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Think about that for a second. A tiny 10-cent coin sitting unnoticed in circulation suddenly becomes worth more than a month's rent for some people. And the scary part is that valuable examples may still be hiding in plain sight. Every single day, old coin jars get emptied. Banks receive wrapped rolls from estates and storage boxes. Families cash in change collections that have been sitting untouched for decades. And because almost nobody checks Roosevelt dimes carefully, rare full bands examples keep slipping through unnoticed. That's exactly what happened to a collector named Brian from Texas. Brian wasn't a coin expert. He just enjoyed searching through pocket change after work. One night, while sorting dimes under a kitchen light, he noticed one 1982D dime looked unusually sharp compared to the others. At first, he almost ignored it, but something about the reverse caught his attention. He flipped the coin over and looked closely at the torch. The bands were perfectly separated. Every line was sharp. No blending. No weakness. Just clean, crisp detail. Brian sent the coin to a grading company expecting maybe a small collector premium. Instead, the coin came back as a certified high-grade, full bands example. When he listed it for auction, collectors started bidding aggressively almost immediately. The final price shocked him. Thousands of dollars for a dime he nearly spent at a gas station. Now here's another detail most people don't understand. Condition matters enormously. If your 1982D dime is heavily worn, scratched, or damaged, the value drops fast. But if it still has bright mint luster, clean surfaces, and strong full bands, collectors can pay huge money for it. And please, whatever you do, never clean the coin. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Even wiping it with a cloth can leave microscopic scratches that grading companies can detect immediately. If you think you found a strong, full bands example, hold it carefully by the edges. Place it in a plastic coin flip or soft holder, and keep it protected until you can have it professionally evaluated. Now here's why these coins are becoming harder to find every year. More collectors are searching Roosevelt dimes than ever before. The best full bands examples are disappearing into private collections, and once they're locked away, they rarely return to the market. That means the supply keeps shrinking while demand keeps growing. And because most people still think modern dimes are worthless, some of the best examples are probably sitting in change jars, dresser drawers, or old bankrolls right now waiting to be discovered. So, let me break this down one more time. Grab your 1982D Roosevelt dime. Flip it over. Check the torch bands carefully. If those horizontal lines are fully separated with strong, sharp detail, you could be holding a coin, worth far more than 10 cents. And trust me, the next dime on this list is even crazier, because the error on that coin is so difficult to spot that even experienced collectors sometimes miss it the first time they see it.